Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third day of the Renaissance of Meteor.js. Today, we'll be talking about Galaxy Cloud, a service that maybe you heard of, maybe not, but today it's a product that has been developed since the beginning with Meteor.js. And to talk about it, I have three guys here with me today. Hey, Elena, one more time. Alim is here today. Hey, Alim. And also, Kelly, how are you doing, folks? Just like the other days, I would like to know where are you watching us from? Where are you right now behind the screens? And I like to go here to have this chat with me, Fred, that is the CEO of Meteor and Meteor Software, right? How are you doing, Fred?
Hey, I'm great, and you? Happy to be here again.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here again. So, people are responding right now where they are watching us from. So, we have Loz one more time here with us. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? As Loz? Loz? Not sure. I hope so. From Iceland. Kelly's from Pennsylvania. Alim is in New York City. Oh, we have someone from Dubai today. Paul is from Dubai. Cool. We haven't had someone from Dubai yet. I'd like to go here as well to join me, Henrique, that is the engineering manager of Galaxy, and is the first time that is here this week. How are you doing, Henrique?
Hey everyone, I'm great. How about you, Gabs?
I'm fine. Happy to have you here. And last but not least, we have one of the developers of Galaxy, Bruno. How are you doing, Bruno?
Hey, I'm amazing, and yeah,
Yeah, so I'm fine. So it's Lios. Lios. Yeah, makes sense because there's a J there, right? Lios. So Lios. Thank you, Lios, for being here one more time. And so let's start by telling folks that are here with us right now what is Galaxy for those that never heard of it.
Yeah, sure. So, in summary, Galaxy is a hosting service built by us specifically to run Meteor apps. It's a distributed system that runs on AWS. We run today in three regions: the United States, Europe, and Asia. And yeah, Galaxy is really easy to use and is the perfect tool to start deploying your app. And you can also scale your app without having to worry about infrastructure. So basically, we usually say that if you use Galaxy, you don't need to have, or you might need to have, I don't know, only one DevOps person in your team because everything is very easy to use on Galaxy. And we just launched Galaxy databases as well recently, starting with MongoDB hosting. So yeah, I think that's basically it. And I can try to show you in, I don't know, a minute or two, just
Yeah,
for
please.
people that haven't seen Galaxy before. So let me try this. Yeah, it will be real quick. Let me know if you are seeing my screen. Yep, you see it? I think so, right? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so we have a few menus here. So we have overview, apps, databases, settings. So I'll just show one app, for instance, that is our website that is built with Meteor.js. So you let me go back there. So you can filter here your apps by status, by plan, and of course by name. So I will show this one. So you have a bunch of information here. You can access APM from here, push and deploy, upgrade your app, and so on. You have your version history. So this is a pretty cool feature because you know, like when was that last time you deployed your app, you can restore a previous version. So that's really good as well. Activity feed, basically saying everything that happened with your app. And yeah, containers, you can see how much CPU memory you're using, how many people are connected to your application, logs as well. You can filter by everything here. I'm going pretty quick just to show you guys a little bit about it. And we also have databases. So as I said, this is really new, and it's really cool as well because now you can host your app and also your database with us. So we have MongoDB database here. You can see your credentials. We just launched this metrics board as well that Enrique and Bruno worked on that. So it is pretty cool as well to see how is your database behaving. And of course logs, so you can see everything that is happening on your database. Yeah, it's taking a while. I won't spend so much time here. Uh, and there's a new screen that we're working that is low carries. So pretty soon we will be able to see also that feature here on Galaxy. And yeah, and to deploy your app, you can connect your repository from GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, and it's pretty straightforward to deploy. You also can use our CLI to deploy your app, so you can integrate with your CI/CD and everything. And yeah, that was 1 minute, two, I don't know, three demo.
Pretty cool, Fred. Thanks for that. And when and what is the motivation to create Galaxy?
Yeah, Galaxy was created it was launched in 2015, and the motivation was basically uh, Meteor.js was created before Galaxy, and it's pretty common nowadays, but it wasn't that common back in the days. But usually you have an open source project and you have to find a way to maintain it. So the way that Meteor Development Group, the previous owners of Meteor and Galaxy, they created Galaxy because it is our source of revenue. So we can keep the open source team and the Galaxy team as well. So, and it was created to help, actually, to help Meteor developers to deploy easily, to scale easily their apps. So it's basically, I think with Meteor.js and Galaxy, you really have a complete environment to develop your apps with productivity, and then to deploy, scale, manage our apps on Galaxy without having to worry about infrastructure. So yeah, and the interface I'm showing right now is Galaxy 2. So perhaps it's new for most of the people because we just launched this as well. Before that, and we are still transitioning to Galaxy 2. So you can see that you could see that this is Galaxy Beta. And before that, we had Meteor Cloud. It's still there, it's still running, but we are phasing out Meteor Cloud. So they are different things, and yeah, I think that's basically it.
Yeah, one thing that you mentioned that is nice to reinforce maybe is that Galaxy is currently our main source of income as a company, and one of the ways that people can support us if you are a Meteor fan is by hosting your apps on Galaxy, right?
For sure, for
And
sure.
help us evolve the product.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So it's a great way, the best way to demonstrate our support for Meteor.js is hosting your app with us, and also databases now. So for databases, that is pretty new. We have a very competitive pricing. So I'm sure that if you compare with other tools, you will find very interesting to migrate your database to Galaxy. And we have a DevOps team that I think it won't be here at this launch week, but we have a DevOps team dedicated to help you managing your MongoDB database and also helping you migrating your database if you wish.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. So one thing that you mentioned, Fred, is that this interface that you just showed us is kind of new. A lot of people haven't seen it yet. And there's like maybe a misconception that we had a service called Meteor Cloud, and now we have Galaxy. And I already saw some people in the community kind of confused. Is Meteor Cloud that or a Galaxy is the same thing, or are they different? So can you please explain that for us? Like, are they the same thing or not?
Yeah, sure. So people can still see that Meteor Cloud is there yet. but we are phasing out Meteor Cloud in favor of Galaxy 2. So basically, before that, and of course, it's still there, still running, and we are on this transition. But we had three tools, and Cloud was basically an umbrella with those three tools. So we have Galaxy, we have Atmosphere, and we have Meteor APM. So Meteor APM, we are also phasing out Meteor APM in favor of Monty APM. That's already there, and people can already access Monty APM. Atmosphere will keep running as a separate tool, and then Galaxy 2 is becoming the only tool you need to manage your apps. So I think before it was a little bit confusing. So you have Meteor Cloud with those tools, you log into a dashboard, and then you go to Galaxy to manage your apps. So I think it wasn't that user friendly, and this version now is a lot better. It's a lot easier to navigate, and it is another use case that we have. I think we will talk a little bit about that soon. But Galaxy 2 runs using Meteor 3, and that is since the beta versions. So it's also a great way for us to test it and demonstrate how stable Meteor 3 is already.
When guys that are in the chat right now, everybody there, if you have questions for the team, if you want to know more about how Galaxy was built or whatever questions you get, feel free to send them on the chat. And in a few minutes, I'll start reading them. Okay. So I'd like to know, guys, a bit about how Galaxy is built. What is the stack that we use? What are the technologies that we use behind the scenes?
Yeah, sure. Basically, we are running on Meteor 3 since the alpha version. So it's been a while. We got so many like bugs and fixes for Meteor 3 before the launch. So that's very interesting. It's like a dog fooding. We have also TypeScript, Zod for schema validation. We have React for the front end library. We have Montaigne, which is a UI library. I really love this one. I'm like a big fan of Montaigne. We are also using React with Suspense, which is pretty new as well for the Meteor community. It was implemented by Gabriel Gruba. And we are also using a package made by him, which is Gruba RPC. It's kind of TRPC, but for Meteor apps. So we have type safety from the backend to the front end. And we have also React Query. So it's been easier to build APIs and to connect the features from the backend to the front end. I don't know if Bruno wants to mention something.
Yeah, it's important to say that we are also using MongoDB, and we also like other than the actual stack running the project. We are also trying to use Node. It's a new tool that help us to prevent having stale code, and we also are using Biome. It's also a new tool that help us with linting and keeping patterns on the code base as well. And important to say that also part of the Galaxy is made on Golang. It's more related to the how the backside of it works, like how we are hosting and the servers that are actually running the deployments. It's more related to DevOps side, but it's also a big part of the Galaxy stack.
And I think that one of the reasons why we chose Meteor to build Galaxy is just like Henrique mentioned, dog fooding, right? So I don't think there's maybe many. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not sure about this, but the opportunity of testing your framework, your tools in the real world, in a real product, is it's like something really, I wouldn't say unique, but it's really cool, right?
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's an opportunity that is not that common because for the open source team, they don't have the same view as we have, like using Meteor to build apps because they are building Meteor itself. So they don't have the same experience as we have. So it's very common for the Galaxy team to give feedback to the open source team when they have issues or when they find something. So that's really cool. And I would like to ask a question for Bruno just to use this opportunity. Because we mentioned in the other days how easy it is to learn Meteor.js and like developers, if they know JavaScript, they can use Meteor. And Bruno joined our team recently, and he didn't have experience with Meteor before. So I'd just like to ask Bruno, how was this experience? Like, was it hard to understand Meteor? Was it how was that for you?
It was very easy to get the hang of Meteor.js. Like I've used it for 1 week before actually doing an interview and building like a challenging project, and it was like so easy. For example, one of the things that we when working with Meteor.js we don't need to worry is like having two services, like the front end, the back end. Like when you're starting any like kind of tooling, you need to have to understand how you're going to deploy everything, everything, how the like front end and the back end are going to connect. And with Meteor.js, you just don't have to worry about that. And we have like RPC, which also help us like help us developers to understand what's the communication happening between the front end and the back end. And just that's just like so much easier with Meteor.js. And I would like to mention that, for example, right now on Galaxy, we are using TypeScript a lot. And the library that Henrique mentioned, Gruber RPC, has a great integration between the Meteor methods and TypeScript and Zod. So everything's connected. So, for example, I don't have to keep remembering myself, like what are the parameters that I'm sending and what I'm expecting to receive on every like Meteor method, because TypeScript does that for me, and that help like a lot when you're unsure if like a parameter is a string or a number, or like everything gets so much easier, and everything keeps like a lot very secure, because you know that what you're going to receive on the Meteor methods is actually what you're expecting, what you're setting on like Zod schema, for example. So yeah, it helps like you to not have to worry about how you're going to deploy, because you can just use Galaxy and you can just run like one CLI command to deploy your app, and the front end and the back end deploy is done. You don't need to worry about remembering the routes and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was an amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Also, to complement this a little bit, we also, like Fred mentioned, like Galax was created like 2015, and it's like a very old code, and that's one of the main reasons of why we are creating Galax 2. It's because the code is really old, and they have like a lot of workarounds to make it work. So we are creating this new platform to unify everything, and also to pay the tech debt that we have. And it's been like very easy to migrate to version 3, because we have like old code, right, running on Meteor 2, and we need to upgrade that. So that's like one thing that we did, it's to try this migration as well. So it was like super easy, basically just adding async await on top of everything, and it just works. So it wasn't like a hassle to do it. And the project is like very big project, and we have like the dashboard, which is one project, which is Meteor Cloud today, and we have Galax, which is another project, and now we have Galax 2, which is unifying everything. So it's been very easy to build new things with Meteor 3.
Yeah, and the great thing about Galaxy 2 is that it will allow us to move faster because Galaxy 1, I'd say, was very complex with some decisions that it was made it was made many years ago. So now we will be able to deliver more features and to provide a better user experience to everyone. That will be easier for us now.
Yeah. I'd like to say hello to Rene and KC that have just arrived here. Hello from Slovakia. Hello, man. How are you doing? And no, I'm sorry. Thomas had asked about the UI library we mentioned. We already shared the link here. It's Mentime. Mentime is the right pronunciation? Yeah.
I think
Mentine.
so.
Mentime. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a UI library for React.
Yes, exactly for React. Yeah.
Okay. So we already we have a few questions here. We have one from Alim. It's not actually related to Galaxy, but let's respond it now because I had another question related to Galaxy. But anyway, he's asking if you are worried about the direction of React.js is taking and how tightly coupled is React to the Meteor.js stack, especially since the React.js team is reluctant to add Meteor.js to its approved stacks.
Yeah, I think that would be a question more to the open source team, but I can
You can try.
say a few things. Yeah. One thing I'd like to clarify is that I don't think Meteor.js is tightly coupled to React.js. We have great packages to do this integration, but Meteor itself is not coupled to React. I think we have this impression today because most of the docs are using React. The university course, we also use React.js. So I think we have more material, more libraries, but we are not tied to React.js. So I think if we decide to change the direction or to build more things with other front-end libraries, that will be easy to us. Like we won't have any blockers because of React. So the decision to move or not to use more other front-end libraries, the Meteor JS open source team can talk about that and discuss that, but I don't think they will have any problems if they decide to do so.
Yeah. No, just go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. So keep sending questions, folks. Keep sending us questions. They can be related to Galaxy or they can be related to Meteor, just like Alien did. And I'd like to ask everybody that's here right now to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also tomorrow we are having a Q&A session with the Meteor core team inside our Discord server, inside our community. So if you're not there yet, join us, please. We're going to share the link of our community in the chat too. And I'd like to ask you folks related to Galaxy. So Fred showed a little bit of the interface, talked very briefly about the features, but what are the main features of the product nowadays?
Yeah. The main feature, of course, is deploying a Meteor app. This is the first one. And also we have launched the database support for MongoDB. So you can host pretty much like any version of MongoDB. We support like I think from 4 to 7. So there's a lot of versions. A lot of other providers don't do that because it's hard to maintain the old versions of MongoDB, but we have other services running on old versions of MongoDB.
Yeah, that's something we discussed a lot. And like the DevOps team, for instance, they wanted to keep only newer versions, and we decided because of business strategy that we should maintain also old versions, and also we don't plan to ever force customers to update their apps, and that is happening, and it's pretty common nowadays to the hosting services force people to update their MongoDB. And the great thing also to have MongoDB with us, it's because sometimes people think, oh, I have an issue. I think Galax, there's something wrong with Galax. And then we go to see, and the issue is with MongoDB hosting. And I think a few weeks ago, it was very common to people that they didn't know that their MongoDB database was upgraded. I think they got emails, but I don't know, they haven't seen them, they didn't see them. And then they start having these issues. So I think this is something that we will do different. I think this is about respect our customers, respect their time, and they will update, upgrade their MongoDB when they want to do so.
Yeah, we are also hosting our own databases, like for Galaxy, for APM, for Atmosphere, for everything basically. And also the latency is a little bit lower than other providers because the app is closer to the database, and it's easier, so it's faster as well. We also have other features like auto scaling, which is a really cool feature. So if you know that you are going to have like a lot of access to your apps, and but you don't know how many access do you are you going to have, you can set like triggers to autoscale your app containers. So for instance, if the CPU is above, I don't know, 50%, you can like run another container and so on. So this is a really cool feature that
And you
we
can
have.
downscale as well. That's
Yeah,
something is not so common.
yeah, exactly.
Why is that so
um,
common?
Well, I don't know the reason exactly, but maybe trying to force people to stay running more containers, and then
And
they have
paying
to
more.
manually, yeah, they have manually to downscale if they want to do that. That's a common question we get in our tickets, like, oh, outscaling is great, but can I downscale? And yeah, you can do that.
With
You
just a
can
click.
downscale automatically. So you can have triggers. So like CPU is above 50%, then I want to run a new containers. And then if CPU, I don't know, is less than 20%, then I want to stop one containers. So that's automatically as well.
Exactly. This one is really good, really great. We also have APM integration, which is to monitor your app, like uh, looking for the publications, the methods, basically just profiling your app, right? And we recently launched an integration with Monty APM. So we are uh, in a stage of phasing out our Meteor APM in order to use Monty APM. So you already can use Monty APM with Galaxy. If you have an app with the professional plan, you can already use Monty APM, and there's a lot of new features there compared to our Meteor APM. We decided to do that so we could focus it more on Galaxy, and also it's a lot of things to maintain. So we decided to support someone from the community, which is Southern, and we are now have a partnership with him. So yeah, this one is really good.
Yeah. We have another feature that is rollback, instant rollback. And I love this feature because, well, today as a CEO, I don't have much time to code. And sometimes I just want to put something in production. And sometimes I break stuff. So I can just go there, roll back, and then okay, let me ask a dev to help me on this. So instant rollback, it's really cool. And basically what you can do is if you deploy a version and for whatever reason you have to revert that and go back to an older version, you can do that easily on Galaxy UI.
Exactly. We also have DDoS mitigation. This is really cool. On other providers, if you have like a DDoS attack, you're going to see like a huge bill especially those new shiny providers out there. I'm not going to mention them, but yeah, you can see on Twitter like huge views because of the DDoS attack. So we have that by default. So you're not going to have a huge view because of that. And our DevOps team is also looking every time and monitoring everything. So we can contact you and say that you are having the DOS attack, and we can block the IPs and help you with this issue. And also the feature is pretty amazing by itself. And we also have pre-render, which is basically accessing your app and having a static version of your app, so you can have especially with like React SPAs in general, the Google crawler does not like it doesn't like very much like SPAs, I would say. So basically pre-render helps you with SEO, and that's basically this feature.
Yeah, that's one thing it's important to say because all those tools, we don't have, at least for now, we don't have like add-ons or and things that, oh, you have to pay for this or for that. Like we basically have two plans. It's essential and professional. And in each of those plans, you have different features. But if you are in the pro plan, for instance, you have access to everything. So you don't have to pay yourself for APM. You don't have to pay yourself for pre-render. So there are many tools that like if you deploy your app somewhere else, you have to pay the hosting and then pay to those other apps as well. So you can have a better a more reliable application. So that's really important to consider when you are choosing where to host your app.
Exactly. Also, some providers also charge by domains. We don't have that. It's like unlimited. You can put how many domains you want. You can put like root domains and also subdomains. There's no problem with that. And we also have a system of notifications to notify you if you like if your app stopped or container crashed or something like that. You can set up those triggers and send directly to your Slack and also email. So this was really good to monitor your apps. We also have like
Yeah,
IPv6. Go ahead, Fred.
yeah. I was just gonna say that our support team is also another great feature, I'd say, about Galaxy because today we don't have like it's very common in other companies as well. You have kind of support levels. So you talk to someone and then they try to solve that. If they can't, then they pass your tickets to another guy that is a specialist. And in our case, like our DevOps specialists, they are replying to the tickets. So you have like right away help in case if you need. And I think we will launch uh, really soon feature that you can have a chat, a real-time chat, where you can just click in an icon on Galaxy and start talking to our support team. So today you have a ticket system. You have to send an email or open a ticket, and it will be a lot easier and quicker to get help in case if you need. And also when the DevOps team they cannot help you because sometimes the issue is not with Galaxy itself, is not with any Galaxy settings, but it's with your app and is more Meteor.js thing. We ask our open source team to help us as well. So they are there, and sometimes the issue is with some coding or some package, and then the open source team also help us when we need them for that.
Yeah. Also, we have basically a free plan, which you can like run a hobby project, I would say. We've also a MongoDB version as well, like a really small one. Is not like for a production, but you can test your app before like moving to essential or professional plan. And we also have a custom plan, like if you have a specific case for your infrastructure, like I don't know, like a VPC or maybe Redis or anything else related, to infrastructure, we can create like anything for you, like custom for you. You don't need to pay like an enterprise plan for that or anything like that. So you can like just pay for the features that you need. Like we have a client that is running TLS version. I think it's like 1.0, if I'm not
1.1, I think.
mistaken. Yeah, and we just support like for the general apps like 1.2, but he need this version, so we have a custom plan for him so he can still run this old version of TLS.
Yeah, we have also private clusters. We have, as you said, Redis for some customers. So the custom plan is really tell us what you need, and we will give you an offer. And as Enrique said, this is something we changed the name of the plan because I think that enterprise sounds like, okay, you have to pay a big bill for us, and that's not the case. Custom plan is just you pay for what you need, and uh, if you need something customized, just talk to us because it will be worth it.
We have a question here in the chat related to the features you were mentioning. GBS Code is asking if there are any examples out there making use of Galaxy pre-render. He or she, I don't know, would love to be able to pre-render certain routes.
We have many apps using Galaxy per render because if you're in the Pro plan, you just install a package and it's there, it's ready. One like if you want to take a look at one example, you can see our own website. Meteor.com runs Meteor.js and uses Galaxy per render, so you can check that one.
Really cool. And from all those features that you mentioned, guys, I don't know if there's a right answer for this, but having never been involved with this kind of product myself as a developer, I have no idea on how challenging is to build it, and what is the biggest challenge of I don't know. One more time, I don't know if there's a right answer for this, but from all those features that you mentioned, what is the most challenging one, or there isn't one? All of them are the same.
Yeah, I would say that is the infrastructure in general, because you need to have a very robust infrastructure to handle every app that we have. Like we have a huge proxy to handle every request, and also to identify the, like if you're having like a DDoS attack, and this cannot uh like crash our infrastructure. So you need to be able to handle like a lot of users. Like it's crazy. I would say that the auto scaling, it's a pretty hard one to have. The rollback as well. I don't see like many providers offering that. So maybe they think it's a very hard one as well. I don't know. I think for me it's those.
The
Maybe Bruno have and Fred has other thoughts about it.
Yeah, I have a few, but I don't work on them directly, so I might be not saying the right thing. But I think one of them is security. Like we have some great AWS tools that help us with that, and we also use many other tools internally to help us with that. And I think the infrastructure that we have for integrating to AWS and other cloud providers, it's also really challenging. And I think I haven't mentioned that we use Golang, right? We did?
Yeah, we
Okay.
mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like for manage AWS and all this stuff, we use Golang, and I think that part of our project is a complex one, and we need really to have a team that works well together because developers and the DevOps team, they build those integrations together, and I think this is something challenging as well.
Yeah, I would probably expand a little bit on the proxy side, because not only the auto scaling, we also have a lot of performance monitoring. Not only the Monte APM, we ourselves have some statistics, like we can see how many active connections we have, and this kind of data. It's also important to have this to the load balancing as well. So it makes like this one a very great feature we have on Meteor, but as well that it's like kind of complex. And I would say that one of the things that we it's challenging, because we need to keep that in mind always, is having a good uptime for all the clients. So everything that we are working on, we are thinking on the apps that are hosted, like they can't just go down. We need to have that always in mind. So we achieve like help the users achieve success. So I think that's what I would say.
Okay. We have a few more questions here. We have one from Elena. Did you change your picture of your avatar, Elena, or are you a different Elena G? Because just a minute ago you were with a different picture. I'm confused. So, is there some kind of client of MongoDB database of a net? I'm not sure if I understood her question.
Yeah, there are a few. I think we use NoSQL Buster. It's the more common tool that we use here. And there's one from the MongoDB team itself that's called Compass. Uh, I think those are the two main tools that you can use. And the question is, if I understood correctly, is basically if there's any client app to use MongoDB to connect to your MongoDB and then check your collections and things like that. So NoSQL Buster and Compass, I think those are the main ones.
We have a comment here from KC saying that I was looking jobs related to Meteor in my surrounding countries, but there is not any open position where Meteor is mentioned. Meteor needs bigger propagation and marketing. We agree. We totally agree. This is something that we have been working on. Actually, if you want to start organizing meetups or other media related events in your area, in your country, in your city, we are studying these ideas right now. But yes, we want to do more and more marketing and talk more and more about Meteor and about Galaxy as well.
Yeah, on the discourse, our discourse channel, we have a job opportunities channel, right?
Discord.
Uh, yeah, Discord. Yeah, exactly.
And
And
there's
there's a
rework
bunch of,
feature.
yeah, yeah, weworkmeteor.com. There's some job posting there.
We already mentioned this earlier in the other days of this event, that one thing that was holding us back of doing more marketing of Meteor is that Meteor was in version 2 and we only supported Node 14, and it didn't make a lot of sense to market that while the new version wasn't released. But now that it is, we are here doing some sort of marketing, right? This is like a way of doing marketing, and we have many other different initiatives right now happening, and this is just the beginning of our content slash marketing slash community initiatives. But we do agree
Yeah,
with you.
another thing about this, and I'm trying to see an example here just to demonstrate that this is real. But yeah, React, yeah. Yeah. So I have one example here. Let me see if I can send to this chat. Yeah. So I just sent an example there because what's very common as well for Meteor.js opportunities is that people don't need Meteor.js developers. They need JavaScript developers. They need software engineers. So sometimes you don't see that it is a Meteor.js job, but it is. So I just sent an example there that is from Code Signal, and that's very common. I
Uh,
saw opportunities
send
from
a
Qualia.
send on the private chat, Fred, because probably you can share on the chat. I think it didn't.
I sent using my phone. I think it's just taking some time to appear that, but yeah, I'm sharing here as well.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, and I saw many other cases of that happening with Qualia and many other companies that they just look for a JavaScript engineer, a software engineer, and they use Meteor. So I think that's why you also don't see those jobs mentioning Meteor.
Maybe even our job positions maybe don't mention meteor. Of course, we mentioned because we are meteor, but but in the job description, I
Yeah,
mean,
and yeah, I think Peter is there on this stack, but as we said, and Bruno is a great example of that. We don't need people with experience on Meteor.js because Meteor.js is basically JavaScript and Node, and developers can learn Meteor really quickly.
cool. We have a question here from Elena. She's asking, "What is Galaxy's roadmap?" So, what are we working on right now, folks, and what are our plans for the future?
Yeah, I think he can mention what we are working now, and I can talk about the future.
Yeah, sure. So we are working now on query insights feature, which is basically showing slow queries of your MongoDB database, so you can like understand which one is taking more time and taking more resources to run. This is a pretty common feature and also very requested from our clients. And what else? I think Bruno is working on push to deploy to make it even easier to use and fix any bugs that he found. And yeah, I think that's it for
And
now.
yeah, in Galaxy too, like we're migrating
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the functionalities from the dashboard and old Galaxy to Galaxy 2.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's
We need to phase out like the old application, so we still need some features, especially on app settings. It's missing some, and we are migrating them to Galaxy 2. And also on the infrastructure side, I would say that I will leave to Fred. He will explain a little bit the future of Galaxy.
Sure. So there are big things that we're working right now, and one of them is to support other technologies than Meteor.js on Galaxy. So this, I think, it will be our biggest launch that still will happen this year. So, and we are still deciding that, but we will start with a few stacks. And first, we will start with Node.js, of course. So very soon we will be able to use any framework inside Galaxy, any Node.js framework inside Galaxy. And it's really common for our customers to use not only Meteor, but to use other technologies as well. So they will be able to use Galaxy for everything. So we will launch Node.js support. And the other one that we're thinking about is Python, because every time you say that, oh, we are opening Galaxy to other platforms, people mention Python. They're like, oh, you should support Python. I'm doing great stuff with Python. So we're thinking about the second one. And if you have suggestions, if you use something else that you want to see supported on Galaxy, you can talk to us. And other than
We have
that, we still will work in adding more databases to Galaxy. So we just launched MongoDB, and we also plan to have Postgres support and FairyDB as well.
Yeah, one thing that comes with that is also speed. Like for the push to deploy is going to be faster than it is today. We are doing some tests with Node.js apps and also with Meteor apps. I was talking with our DevOps team, and it's like super fast. Really, I was amazed by that.
we
Yeah,
have. Oh, sure. Go on, bro.
yeah, I was just going to say that even like on the Galaxy 2 dashboard, we are working a lot on improving the speed, the performance, and the overall accessibility of the website. Now, like we are constantly trying to improve the responsiveness so everyone can use a lot of the features of the Galaxy on their phones if they need to. And overall, the performance, I think there's on the last month there was already like a lot of performance gains there. So I think you guys notice that as well. But yeah, overall, I think everything's going to be like smoother, like a way better experience. Person.
Okay, so Before moving to the next question, Max Kurama is here again mentioning that he has a very huge fintech project built with Meteor and at least 18 services and microservices using React to the front. And Max and other folks that are in the chat right now, if you have an interesting project, beautiful meteor, and want to have it highlighted in the video interview here in our channel, send me an email at gabs@meteor.com and let's have a chat because we are interviewing some customers, some people that have interesting projects built with meteor, and it'll be very cool to talk to you. Okay. So we have two questions here related to routing. Sam the man is asking if Meteor has routing, and Elena is asking if will there be embedded simple routing or flow router, sorry, is better for now.
About routing, I think flow router is the best option, and that's about Blaze. So just to clarify as well as you did in the other days, when Meteor was created, Blaze.js was the only option that you could use on the front end. And nowadays you support React, you support Vue, Solid, Svelte, and all those frameworks, they have their own routers, and they usually have great routers like React router, for instance. So using those other frameworks, you can use whatever router you prefer. And I think with Blaze, Flow routers is still the best option.
Okay, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I think it's Russian, probably. But it is asking that you want to use Meteor for apps in my job, mini games. How difficult is to deploy Meteor app to our servers? I'm not sure if you're asking self-hosted or maybe Galaxy. I don't know. I think you can talk a bit about both, right?
Yeah, I think it's self-hosted. But yeah, like to deploy to Galaxy, it's pretty straightforward. One CLI command and it's there, or just push to deploy and it is there. So it's pretty easy. And then if it's self-hosted, there's a tool called Meteor Up that I think is the best option to deploy in other places. Like if you want to deploy in your own servers, just look for meteorapp.com and you can find a great tool.
Oh,
You're
sorry.
muted,
So
yeah.
Adik has a question related to PostgreSQL. We already kind of answered this before, but let's do it again. He's asking if PostgreSQL is not currently supported, if Meteor is still heavily reliant on MongoDB.
You guys gonna answer that, or can I go again?
Yeah, I can answer that. Like for the Galaxy side on the hosting, we only support MongoDB for now. We are going to support Postgres and ParrotDB. Now about the Meteor.js, the framework, like the main features are supported only by MongoDB, but we have a community package that supports like Postgres.
It's
And
MySQL actually.
yeah, it's MySQL. Okay, okay. So it probably will be easy to port to Postgres, right? Because basically they're pretty much the same.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I can find the package here. I don't know if Fred has that, like stir it or something that then we can
It's
share on the
from
chat.
yeah, it's from Blask. I can find it quick.
Yeah, Gabriel Gruber did a bunch of tests on top of that, and it works fine.
Hmm. Okay, so we are running out of time, folks. If you haven't had your question responded, or if you want to ask and talk more to us about Meteor, about Galaxy tomorrow, we are hosting a Q&A session inside our community, inside our Discord server. We're going to share the link in the chat one more time if you're not already there. It's going to be at the same time that this live started today. And we are also having a, I wouldn't say surprise, but we haven't announced it properly. Live coding session here on Friday. Okay, I'm going to be with Leonardo, that is the lead of the open source team, leading the development of Meteor.js, and we're going to build something interesting with you guys. So, final
Will that
question.
be here or on Discord, the live coding?
It's going to be here. It's going to be here.
Okay.
Yeah. And one last question to you guys is, where is Galaxy hosted? Who hosts the hosting services?
Yeah, it is hosted on Galaxy. The host
How's
hosts
that?
it itself. Yeah. Yeah, we are
Yeah,
using
so
Galaxy.
yeah, the dog fooding is not even only with Meteor, but also like the Galaxy as well. And I think it's important to mention that we also use the Galaxy features like anti-DDoS. We use the rollbacks when it's necessary. So everything that we ship on Meteor, everything that we ship on Galaxy, we are also using on Galaxy. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think Jan said that it's AWS. Yes, we use AWS, and we also use OVH, which is another provider.
That would be an interesting content, right? How we hosted Galaxy inside Galaxy, right?
I think so. We would just need
Yeah.
to bring the DevOps team, I guess.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
have a last question here. Last that came. KC is asking if we are adding some AI features into Galaxy. Okay. Have you guys thought about that?
We don't have concrete plans, but one thing that is already open is the Ask AI in our docs. So in galaxyguide.meteor.com, you don't need to navigate trying to find something anymore. You can just ask the AI, and it will reply to you very quickly. And one thing that I have in mind, but I haven't planned yet, is related to auto scaling, because it's not that easy to figure out, like, okay, which triggers I need, and like how should I scale and auto scale and downscale. So I think that feature is great one where we could monitor your app and then start learning with your app and your app's behavior, and then kind of decide for you if you should. Of course, you would have to enable that option, but we could decide for you if you should scale down or up. I think on that part, we could really use some interesting AI to handle that for customers.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much, guys, for your time. Thank you to everyone here in the community chatting with us, participating, asking questions, and we're very happy to your with your engagement here. I'd like to ask one more time, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, if you haven't hit the like button, please do that, support us, and host your OPA and host your Meteor apps on Galaxy to support us even more. I'll see you all tomorrow inside our Discord server, and thank you very much one more time. Bye.
Bye bye, everyone. See you.
Bye bye. Thank you.